I was working remotely for Stanford when I got the call one day. Natalie, we've restructured your department. We need you to relocate to California. My heart dropped. My throat felt dry. And my brain started doing that thing where I start thinking of all the worst case scenarios. In that moment, I could have been competing for my own Olympic sport called freestyle panic, and I would have won, and I was a gold medal contender. If I said no, I would have lost my dream job. If I said, let's push back a little bit, they would have called me difficult. If I said, yes, I will move from Maryland to California, I would have been blowing up my son's stability. As I looked at his backpack, his Spider-Man backpack, leaned up against the wall, I remembered the days where he was the student that no school wanted. He was one spitball away from being expelled from kindergarten. When we moved to Maryland, we found the perfect school for him, a school that adored him, a school that understood his different abilities, a school in where he was thriving. I knew I couldn't take a chance with that. And so I did what any person who's in a moment of crisis should do. I called out my secret weapon, and I'll share it with you today. I called out my personal board of directors. Your personal board of directors are a group of trusted advisors, people you've picked up along the way, friends, colleagues, associates, people who will help you to move from panic to being able to problem solve. These are the people who are able to unravel that ball of emotion of nerves that you have in moments of uncertainty. Apple, Google, Coca-Cola, these companies all have a board of directors. If you don't have a personal board of directors, who is watching out for your interests? As an employment lawyer, I recommend that you have 4 seats on your board of directors to align with the 4 quadrants of your work life. Number 1, you have the CEO. Your CEO is a tested leader, someone who helps you understand that business decisions are not necessarily personal, but strategic. My CEO said, Natalie, you're treating this like a breakup. Stanford wasn't your boyfriend. You need to make a business case. Number 2, I had my insider. My insider is the person who understands what's happening in the industry, someone who understands market trends. And my insider said, Natalie, working remotely, it is under siege. But here's what's happening in your market that might be of help to you. And number 3, you have your challenger. Your challenger is the person who may seem like a contrarian. You never quite see eye to eye. They help you to see things from a very different perspective. They hold up a big fat mirror to your blind spots. My challenger said, Natalie, you're arguing preference, but you've yet to tell me why working remotely for Stanford benefits them and not just you. And then lastly, I had my OGs, operations and governance. These are your people who are human resources and employment lawyers, the people who have helped you to stay away from sending that 2 a.m. email that was poorly worded. Collectively, my board of directors were able to move me from a whiny, I don't want to move to California, to instead saying, Maryland is the 3rd state that receives the highest funding in life sciences investments. I'm strategically positioned to be able to create partnerships that can yield millions for our research and development. I know, hot, isn't it? Buildings, business offices, job titles, they can change overnight. However, it's your personal board of directors that will keep you steady. If you've ever felt safe, you understand that moment where one conversation could have changed everything. You may have learned that you were restructured. You may have learned that you have a new boss. You may have learned that you have been laid off. You know the dread of sitting and feeling that the future that you were standing on was all of a sudden paper thin. If you've ever had to lead people through those moments, you know that feeling of being able to see people who are updating their LinkedIn profiles quietly. The work may have continued, but the trust had left the building.